Hello and welcome to Dare to Take, presented by the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. Today I am your host, the Rook, and we are tasting here DuClaw Brewing Company, the Patriarchy, instead of the Patriarchy, Super Freak, Coconut Caramel Chocolate Brown Ale, 7.5% alcohol by volume. It looks pretty good. It's not a holiday beer like that I've been tasting the last few beer to takes, but it is cookie flavored. Reading the back of the can, we'll get a sense of what we're in store for here. So we got give in to the seductive coconut, caramel, and chocolate notes, plus roasted malt and a gentle hop bite. Indulge and get freaky. Oh yeah, DuClaw is doing it up with this one. They really want you to get into that super freak, like Rick James, bitch. Pretty good. It's chocolatey. Definitely have that. I don't think it's notes of chocolate. It tastes like chocolate. Not too much on the coconut. A little bit on the caramel, but I don't really taste that coconut. They're saying that there'll be notes of that in, but it definitely feels like a malty beer. It's not actually surprising. It looks dark. It looks heavy, but it's a brown ale, so it's a little bit light. It's not like a stout. Not that heavy. Very light. Definitely drinkable. 7.5% alcohol though, so you gotta be careful with these bad boys. So anyway, usually this is the time where I give you my sports take. But to change things up a little bit for the holidays, we're going to switch it up. And we're going to talk a little about, I'm a millennial, right? I grew up in the 90s. So I'm going to talk about top 5 Christmas presents that maybe you wanted when you were a kid. I'll go for start number 5 and work my way up to number 1. And then I'll give a few honorable mentions. Number 5 is the Mighty Max / Polly Pocket for girls. So if anyone remembers these were the little tiny little storage compartments, I guess, and you open it up and there'd be like a whole castle or adventure basically going on inside with either Mighty Max or if you had Polly Pocket. Polly Pocket was for girls, Mighty Max for the boys. Mighty Max, I love those. Those are my favorite. They used to have little figures that came with it too, and you could run up the stairs, and it was a really cool toy as a kid. So if you're a 90s kid, you might remember Mighty Max and Polly Pocket.
Mighty Max!
Welcome to Skull Dungeon.
Wow!
Mighty Max!
Smasher, get up! Your brain donor is here. Me want brain.
Number 4 is similar to one of the honorable mentions we'll get to later, but Tamagotchi. I don't know if everyone remembers Tamagotchi, the keychain with a little pet inside electronic game. All I remember is that if you forgot to if you forgot to clean up after it, it would just keep shitting until the entire screen was full of shit and it would die. I remember that. That was fun. But yeah, you had to make sure you took care of your Tamagotchi. It was actually your first responsibility as a kid, was taking care of a Tamagotchi. Kind of prepared me for life as a parent.
All means, feed it. Play till your heart's content.
Look, Goldie! I took good care of her, and she changed again.
Change.
Number 3, which is one of my all-time favorite TV shows as a kid, was Power Rangers figures. Power Rangers figures, whether they had the head, when you hit the belt and their head would flip up. They have a regular head, you hit the button and flip up into the Power Ranger mask. You also had, you would buy each part on Megazord. And you would buy each part, you'd buy his legs, which would be, the Black Ranger's like Triceratops, or no, he wasn't the Triceratops, he was the Woolly Mammoth. Then you had the Blue Ranger, who's Triceratops with the other leg. You had, you'd buy the Tommy's Godzilla looking thing. Toys were awesome. I remember requesting those every Christmas when I was a kid. Those Power Rangers would bring you back. Oh, also the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers thing. You would buy the handle, or the badge that would go on the belt. You'd use that as well. That was cool as shit too. I love those.
Morph to become the Megazord. The Megazord is part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimate Battle System.
Number 2 is Pokemon games and Pokemon cards. Back in the late 90s, Pokemon cards came into fruition, I guess, and people would be trading them all around school. Pokemon, the game, was incredible as a kid. It's definitely something that I wanted with my Game Boy. And you would trade with your friends through a cable, or when you got the Game Boy Color, they had a little piece on top, the glass piece, and you were able to transfer wirelessly. Back in the 90s, wireless transfers of Pokemon, which was awesome. And if you were a kid who had the wire, you were at need. That's like the highest, utmost time when you were important in your life. You were the only kid with a wire to connect Game Boys to another Game Boy. Everyone was using that cable and trying to become friends with you. So that was probably like your highlight of your life, was when you were the only kid with the Game Boy wire to trade Pokemon.
Pokemon? Got you on your Game Boy, that's where. Pokemon for Game Boy is here. With both packs, you can catch them all.
And number one is one that I actually never got as a kid. It was always on my Christmas list, and unfortunately I never got it. But it was the Talk Boy from Home Alone.
Stop drooling on me. Stop drooling on me.
It even has speed control.
Hi, kids. We're home early.
Hi, kids. We're home early.
Macaulay Culkin has the Talk Boy Home Alone 2. He changes his voices with it. He makes recorded notes with it. I loved it. I always wanted one. I never got one, unfortunately, but hopefully, maybe as an adult, I'll relive my childhood and buy myself a Talk Boy this Christmas. And brings us to a few honorable mentions that I may have missed, and I feel like people might, you could argue this list all you want, or you comment about what you felt like in the 90s, growing up in the 90s, what was the biggest toy or present that you wanted for Christmas. But Furbies, which is kind of like a Tamagotchi, so I really didn't put it in there. And Furbies were creepy. They were just creepy. They're like a pretend or wannabe gremlins. They look like Gizmo, but they were much creepier looking. Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies was huge when we were kids in the 90s. Everyone wanted Beanie Babies. They were always collectible items. You wanted to keep it, save it, to sell it eventually down the line. Beanie Babies was huge back in the 90s. And Pogs. Pogs was so much fun. I remember, they get different slammers. You always wanted certain Pogs, like your favorite sports team, your favorite players. They had faces on it. They always had such cool Pogs out there, and that was such a huge thing growing up in the 90s when you would try to collect them and you would play games and trade them or even win them against each other. That was fun.
Kinda traded your soul to the guy at the comic book store. But look, I got some cool Pogs. Elf Pogs. Remember Elf? He's back in Pog form. You traded my soul for Pogs?
As for the beer, very solid beer. It's not blowing me away like other beers that I've had so far, but this is very good. It's Maryland made, DuClaw, so check it out. I'm gonna give this, get a little aftertaste now that I don't really like that much. I'm gonna give this, we have a 2.8. It's not amazing that go over 3. I feel like the 3 to 5 range is like these amazing beers. I think it's right in the middle there. 2.8 is probably about where this is at. It's good. I mean, I'm not saying it's terrible. I would drink this. Like I said, drinkability is very good. Something you can drink all night long. Not too heavy. It's not too sweet. Just perfect right in the middle there. 2.8. That's my rating for this Super Freak. And that's my beer. That was my take. Peace. Happy holidays.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.